What is up, everybody? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today we are breaking down everything you need to know. Eagles versus Browns. Joining me, he is the Rob Langy at Philly_Madness. What's good, Rob?
Hey, man, it was I would like to say it was a stressless bye week, but the Phillies did not want to make it stressless, and I feel like I might have been more stressed than when the Eagles were playing. But excited to get them back. The NFL is proving week in and week out that there is not a dominant team.
Yes.
That every team has flaws, the teams in the NFC specifically, and people that are in love with the Lions and all this other stuff. I'm still not ready to crown anybody. So the Eagles are still in this thing. It's just a matter of we'll see probably in the first 15 to 25 minutes of the game Sunday if we should get excited or not.
Yeah. The NFL has been drunk, man. Yeah, every single week I feel like it's something goes against what I thought would happen. We've got Peter in the house. What's going on, Peter? Thanks for joining, man. If you watch us live, feel free to join. Comment your thoughts on the Browns. We're going to get into a lot of different things here. We have Mitch in the house as well. What is going on, Mitch?
Gentlemen.
The Eagles didn't play last week, but I do have some takeaways. Let's talk top takeaways from last week. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's go to
new buttons, everybody. New buttons.
There it is. All right, top takeaways from last week. I watched that Commanders-Browns game, man. My goodness, the Browns stink. They stink, and we're going to get into it in depth. But you look at the Eagles and the Browns heading into this week. The Birds are currently 8.5-point home favorites. They're the biggest Week 6 favorites in the entire NFL right now, and the Eagles haven't won big against an opponent in what feels like forever, literally October 2023. Could this be the week, Rob?
No. I have no faith that this team could blow anybody out. I think I said that early. I said that after the Packers game, and then again, I don't think it's in their build right now to blow anybody out. Now, if the offense comes out and lights it up, that's great, but I don't trust this defense. They've been every other week. So, well, no, not even. They've had one really good week. Okay. They've had one really good week. And the other weeks they looked very, very weak and holes all over the field. So I don't know who they could blow out. Right now I look at them and say they remind me more of a Cincinnati Bengals than they do of a team that could blow anybody out. And what I mean by that is Cincinnati's putting up a lot of points. They're putting up a lot of offense. Joe, I don't care what people say. Joe Burrow has played lights out. But the defense can't stop anybody. Yeah. So that's my concern with the Eagles going into this week is, what's going to be enough for everybody? Is a win going to be enough? Like for me, it is, because I don't think this team is good enough to blow people out. But I know this fan base. They're going to expect to beat the hell out of the Browns just like the Commanders did. And if it doesn't happen, everybody's going to continue with the negativity. And listen, I'm not saying they're not warranted to be negative about this team, but, I feel like we're going overboard. People are they're doing what they do a lot in this town, Dives, and that's trying to fit whatever their narrative was at the beginning of the season. They want that to be right. So they'll twist and contort whatever's happening to fit their narrative. For example, if they didn't like Jalen Hurts, everything is negative about Jalen Hurts. If they didn't like Nick Sirianni, the offense only stinks because behind the scenes, he's still calling the plays. It's like, just people want their narrative to be fit right now instead of watching. And right now, they're not a good football team in any stretch of the imagination after the first 4 weeks.
That's what happens when you're missing your best wide receiver.
Yeah.
You're missing,
it's huge.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the offense. All my pretty much most of my concerns are with this defense, and we're going to get into it in a second. But still on offense, like there's way too much Nick Sirianni built into this offense. There's still, like you said, the Eagles are moving the chains, but there's still some red zone concerns. There's still some situational play calling concerns. And there's honestly, I'll say it, like I do have some concerns about Jalen Hurts and his fit with the Kellen Moore offense, him under center, him throwing with anticipation and things like that. So I think there's legit concerns on both sides of the football. Again, the offense will be fine, but where my concern is more so the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that they are getting no prep, and this is my issue, right? Like, we really banked on these coordinators on both sides of the ball coming in and really changing the dynamic of everything that this team was going to be about. And we know that Vic Fangio was never a huge fan of the blitz, but I thought that Vic Fangio was a smart enough guy that if what you're doing in plan A isn't working, you go to plan B. And, you know, I'm watching the NFL and I'm watching the league and I'm watching safeties coming up and making sacks in the backfield. I'm watching linebackers come on a delayed blitz and crushing quarterbacks. The 49ers lost yesterday because of a delayed blitz where the guy was not picked up and Brock Purdy's hit as he throws and Kaiser White. You've got to, if your front four are not going to get home, you've got to send an extra man or two. To me, I think the back end is actually good enough now that you can do that, you know, and I like to see that more of a try. Like, you've got to get after Deshaun Watson on Sunday. I mean, the guy is just, he's running for his life. He's all over the place and he's not accurate whatsoever. Just get after him. Like, pin your ears back and go after him. But you're right. It starts, that defensive line has just been brutal.
Yep. It's the defensive line. It's the approach. Like, it's the soft, passive approach from Fangio, playing too far off the line, not adjusting, like you said, not being creative with attacking the passer. Let's get into our top storylines to watch this week. Top storylines to watch. I'll lead us off, man. Mine's simple. Enough is enough. Play the kids. We've seen enough Bryce Huff. I'm ready to move on. It's time to see what Jalen Hunt is all about. He's 6'4", 245 pounds. We've heard all about how Vic Fangio loves this guy coming out of the draft. He can drop back into coverage. We've seen him set the edge during the preseason. Yes, it was preseason. But the Eagles need to give a different look for this defense. And I think Jalen Hunt is a guy that can kind of give them a spark plug, so to speak. The other guy I want to see, bench Avonte Maddox, give me Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is an excellent tackler. He's still recovering from injury, and it's time to unleash him in the nickel. It's time to see what we got. He's only played 8 total defensive snaps this year. He's been kind of that DB in the dime package. I want to see a lot of Cooper DeJean. Out there. This is about taking your growing pains and getting ready for January. If it was up to me, I'm seeing what I got in Jalen Hunt and Cooper DeJean.
I love it. I love going to the younger guys. I think it's important. I think, you know, for me, my top storyline is really a team-wide thing, and is the sense of urgency coming out of the bye there. Okay, because if you sat back this week and you watched the league, the teams that we had defined as the top teams, San Francisco, Dallas, they have major holes, and the teams that are at the top, you know, the Minnesota Vikings, right now the Washington Commanders. They're not teams that I necessarily believe at this point, and I could be wrong, but at this point can do this for a full 17-game season. that at some point the league will catch back up to them. But you have an opportunity to stay within this thing and to stay in the race. And the only way you could do that is by beating the teams that you're supposed to beat and getting better each and every week. And that's offensively, defensively, coaching, all the way across the board. But if you come out with a lackadaisical performance against Cleveland, or Nick Sirianni is still making these decisions that are just, fourth downs, and, you probably should kick a field goal and he goes for it, or something. We can't do that. Like, you got to go in there. This is a game where I will take any win. I'll say that again. I will take any win because, as you said, Dibes, you put it perfectly. The league is drunk right now. So any win you get is a good win. For example, like Dallas, that's a good win for Dallas. They didn't deserve the win, but hey, they got that win, and that was not an easy win to get. So mine is going to be all about, is the sense of urgency there? Do they realize that there is still something in front of them that they can reach, they can achieve? But we're going to be able to tell, I think, in the first half. Now, first couple drives, the rust off the bye week, it's a real thing. But by the halftime, we're gonna have a pretty good idea of what this Eagles team is going to be going forward.
How about see both sides of the field play in unison?
Yeah.
My God, is that too much to ask?
How dare you ask for that?
4 quarters. Give me 4 quarters of efficient, sound football. I'm talking utilizing Saquon Barkley. I'm talking, cut the shit with all the missed tackles. Like that kind of stuff. Like, stop. Like we have Peter say, like off coverage. Stop playing 10 feet off the line.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Let's at least shake things up just a little bit.
I want to be heading in. What I really want is to be heading into the fourth quarter relaxed. Game is in hand. You're up 2 or 3 scores. They haven't moved the ball all game. Even if your offense hasn't been like scoring 35 points, but maybe you're up 20-3 or 20-6. Something where you have just shown dominance against a team that is inferior to you is what I would be hoping as we enter the fourth quarter on Sunday.
Absolutely. Peter says, do you think we should stop playing off coverage so much? It's what Quinyon thrives in. It's definitely where at least that's what he's most comfortable with. Like, Quinyon definitely struggles with more man coverage, but it's something that he needs to learn to do. So I think they should absolutely play more on the line. No question about it.
Yeah.
I hate the whole, and we talked about this on previous shows, how this season is really going to test our tolerance of that Vic Fangio defense, the bend don't break defense.
Yeah,
I hate it. I personally, I can't stand it.
I feel like I'm tired of it, Dibes. I feel like that's all we've dealt with in Philly for now almost 10 years, just based off of all the different coordinators have kind of lived by that creed of bend but don't break. And I know people are going to say, well, yeah, but that was Jim Johnson's creed. Yeah, but Jim Johnson would pin their ears back and go after a quarterback. I mean, Brian Dawkins blitzed all the friggin' time under Jim Johnson. Let me see a safety blitz. Let me see a corner blitz. Let me see, let me see Quinyon Mitchell on a corner blitz. Let me see, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson come flying down and sack the quarterback. Like have seen a couple of these other, I think Chicago's got a kid, Pittsburgh, the kid in Pittsburgh that blitzes consistently from this position. Just let me see something different, something energetic, because that, to me, that's like the blitz sack is like the slam dunk in basketball or the late inning home run in baseball. It gets the juices of the whole entire stadium flowing. And I think that's crucial for this team right now.
I think the concern is the Eagles' defense against 11 personnel. I don't know what the hell they do to stop it. I don't like what they have in terms of alternatives. Like, we'll see what we have in Cooper DeJean and Jalen Hunt. We'll see if they actually finally make that kind of move. I just got an alert on my phone that Sidney Brown is in the 21-day window here for practicing, which is great. He's definitely going to help, at least, getting downhill. But we have Marshawn in the house. What's going on? Dibes, we survived yesterday. I cannot believe I have a voice. I went to work this morning, and I my boss, my clinical director is like, "Oh yeah, you're teaching an autistic support high school classroom today," and I had no voice. I was
Dude,
like,
now here's the thing.
I was hurting this morning. I mean, that was one of the best wins I've seen in forever.
I watched the game by myself alone in a family room and woke up this morning and could not speak because I was yelling at a fever pitch so intense that I got lightheaded 4 or 5 times towards the end of that game and had to do deep breaths to settle myself back down.
That was, man.
It was incredible, man.
Is there anything like playoff baseball? It's like playoff baseball and playoff hockey, the two best.
They are. They really are. And I'm not, like I said, when it comes to playoff baseball, I'll be honest, if it's not the Phillies, I really don't watch because I just get frustrated. but I watched some of that Padres Dodgers last night. And and I was watching a couple innings today of the Guardians and Tigers in a nothing game where a lot of times you watch nothing game, it's boring. It is intense, man. Nothing. It's that's legit playoff baseball.
Yep. Marshawn says, "Let me see a check down." Absolutely.
Marshawn's got some good ones here.
Let's give the MVP more than 12 touches. Really? One part.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah, and that's where I need to talk to Kellen more a little bit because you're out all those guys on offense last week or 2 weeks, in Tampa, and he touches the ball 2 times in the first 3 series. And what pisses me off is the first 3 series. Isn't that your script? Isn't that your scripted plays at that point? Why is he not in the script? And that's on any offensive coach. So it's Kellen, it's Nick, it's running backs coach, it's quarterbacks coach. It's, why is Jeff Stoutland not pounding the table to say, hey, give the running back the ball, let my guys do their job? The offensive staff needs to be, have their feet put to the fire for that.
They got to get more yards on first down. They were horrible on first down, especially out the gate. I think the first 3 or 4 series, they were getting nothing. And what resulted from that, they were getting into all these 3rd and longs, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 9. It buried them. And they cannot have that game plan coming out the gate against the Cleveland Browns. Let me see a massive human being at the linebacker position. We've covered a lot of them on our college football shows. Brian says Sixers tonight. We'll be doing
that. Is that game watchable?
Yeah, it's all on NBC Philly.
It is because normally they'll say it on the score on ESPN, the scoreboard. I'm like, oh, I got to put them on tonight. I have to watch. Absolutely. I have to watch against the New Zealand
Breakers.
Breakers, yes.
Your starters will be Maxey, Gordon, Oubre, Caleb Martin, and Andre Drummond. I can't wait, man. I'm in.
I love it. I love it, man. I want to see because that's what it is. As much as everyone says, "Oh, Paul George is a big guy," they added so many bodies that I want to see in a Sixers uniform. So
they got some dogs, man. They got some dogs.
They have dogs. They do have those dogs this year. No doubt about it. Hopefully, they can all still play, but they have those dogs this year.
Let me see someone else make a tackle. Watch this team shit the bed after the bye.
That will be the most depressing thing.
Why were the Yankees fans chatting FMB? I didn't see that. Anyway, this man asked if the game watchable. This Eagles not watchable. Rob wants to see bodies. All right, let's jump in.
You all know who I want to see.
Yeah, let's get into our top Eagles versus Browns matchups to watch. All right, Rob, lead us off, man. I've got 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one is an easy one, and that's I'll limit it though. I'll say the edge rushers versus Deshaun Watson, because first of all, whether Deshaun Watson has been playing like crap or not, he's an elusive quarterback. He's a little bit mobile, so you got to keep him in the pocket, but you've got to get pressure. If you get pressure on Deshaun Watson, this game will not be close. I can promise you that the Eagles will win by 3 or 4 scores. If you can get any amount of pressure, specifically these edge guys, whether it's Hunt, whether it's Graham, whether it's Sweat, I don't care. I'm not saying Huff because until the guy does something, I don't even want to mention his name because it's an absolute disgrace. It could go down as Howie's worst free agent signing, in my opinion, worse than Byron Maxwell, even though that was probably a Chip Kelly one, but still. So I want to see these edges get home. All right. And look, I'm not even saying sack him, but hit his ass. Hit him as he throws the ball. Make him so uncomfortable that there's not a chance in hell that the Cleveland Browns can stay in this game.
Who's Yakisoba?
I think he means Yusuf. What's his name?
Yabusele?
Yabusele, yeah. I knew he was trying for it.
I love it. That's so great.
Yakisoba, I like it.
Yeah, the Eagles pass rush versus the Watson in that Browns O-line. The Browns offensive line is in complete shambles. They have 2 tackles in DeJuan Jones and Jed Wills. They got cooked by the Washington Commanders last week. They gave up 7 sacks against Washington.
And see, that's been the issue. It's like the Eagles have not been able to take advantage of that. And you have to do that.
Well, but that's the concern is the blueprint is they're going like if Deshaun Watson doesn't get rid of the ball in 2 seconds every possession, I don't know what they're doing. Like that's what I would do if I were if I were an opposing offense, just go get rid of the ball as fast as possible. You look at this Eagles pass rush in 4 games, they only have 6 sacks. That's the 4th fewest among all NFL teams. And the only guy with multiple sacks, who's that, Rob? Who's that?
Multiple sacks? Is that Brandon? Is it the old man?
Zach Bond.
Oh, Jesus. You mean my pick for the best linebacker ever way back in the beginning of training camp?
The Eagles have the 7th fewest pressures in the league. They're tied for the 7th fewest tackles for loss in the league. Not good, Rob. Not good.
No, that is no better than where we've been, and that needs to change. Yeah, but
do you think since both ends play better playing wide, that's Bryce Huff, and then a 4-point stance, would that make a difference? I mean, you're basically going to have to probably go baseline with Bryce Huff and really hone him in on just straight up passing downs at this point and hopefully get him into some sort of rhythm because he can't set an edge. He can't be on the field during rundowns. He looks straight garbage. Marshawn says the only thing this team has taken advantage of is turnovers in the red zone. I'll go here. Saquon Barkley versus the Browns linebackers. If there's one of the strengths of the Browns, I really like their linebackers. They have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Going back a few years ago, I love that dude in the draft process. He was one of my favorite guys, and he's been really good. And you look at last week, 5 tackles, a sack. He had a quarterback hit, a batted pass, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception in the red zone. And then they have another guy in Devin Bush, another really good linebacker who led all players with 10 tackles last week. He did have 1 pass defense. So getting Saquon Barkley involved early and often, set the tone, man. That's what I want to see. And it's going to be a really fun matchup between Barkley and these Browns linebackers who are very solid. And then, I think we have to go back to the start of the show, which we talked a little bit about, and that's Deshaun Watson versus his career, essentially. That's not even an Eagles matchup, but Deshaun Watson has been bad. I mean, he's completing passes at 60.2% through 5 games. He's only got 5 touchdowns to 6 turnovers. He ranks 31st out of 31 qualified quarterbacks in QBR. And this is a team that's horrible on 3rd down. This is a team that's averaging just 15.8 points per game. That's 3rd worst in the NFL. There's serious noise about Jameis Winston being the starter moving forward. Dude, I'm going to be – the post-game show should be fun because if he comes out and starts carving up this Eagles defense for serious problems.
Oh, my God. Am I on the post-game this week?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I gotta look.
I gotta look at
I gotta look to see if I need to be super intoxicated or not. No, I will say you kind of gave a matchup there between Deshaun Watson and basically his career. I'm going to kind of do it on the other side, but not with the career. But I'm going to do Jalen Hurts versus himself. And what I mean by that is stop trying to be the hero and forcing balls that don't need to be forced. Start trusting your progressions. Start giving yourself making the easy play. And just that's it. Like, that's it. Don't try and be a hero on every play with the throw. By the way, take off. I don't mind him running when it's not a designed run, honestly. And I want to see a little bit more of that. I want to see, he was starting to show a little bit of it. I don't know if it was the Falcons game or the Saints game where you saw him showing a little bit of emotion after certain runs. I think it was the Falcons game. Like, I want to see more of that, but I also want to see you just, if it's not there deep, take the underneath route that's wide open and get 15 extra yards. Just stop. Just play within yourself. Don't try and be the hero, because right now, and I made this comparison the other day, and I hate making this comparison, but right now his trajectory is eerily similar in a scary way to Carson Wentz.
I knew it.
I mean, it's almost right where he comes out of nowhere and has this unbelievable season, and now Carson got hurt, but Jalen gets to the Super Bowl and honestly was probably the best player in the Super Bowl, even in a losing effort, and then gets the big contract, and then it's like, and you like, I'm like having PTSD of it, because it's like that. Could you imagine if we got two quarterbacks that we thought were the guy back to back and they did the exact same thing? I don't think I can handle it. I just don't think I can handle it. And I don't want it to be the truth. But right now, man, it's a scary proposition that has some basis behind it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's get to our Eagles fill in the blank segment of tonight. All right, Eagles fill in the blank. The Eagles will beat the Browns because, you can go first, man.
They play the right way. This is not, it's not rocket science this week. Eliminate the mistakes. Okay.
That's fine too. Yep.
Yeah. Eliminate the mistakes. That to me is the key. You have to, you can't turn the ball over. You cannot lose the turnover battle again to this team. The one thing that Cleveland has for them is their defense is a good defense. They haven't shown it, but you know that they're a decent defense. They have, like you named a couple of linebackers. I don't know. Is Myles Garrett back? Is he playing?
I'll look it up,
because I know that he was injured. But I mean, they have talent on that defense side of the ball. Avoid the turnovers. Stop the missed tackles. Just make the simple play. This has to be a simple game plan in that sense. You don't have to rewrite the wheel here. Play the game the way it was meant to be played. If you're inside the 30 and it's fourth down, kick a field goal. If you're on your side of the 50 and it's fourth down, punt the football and play field position. Jalen Hurts, yes, exactly. Don't be the hero, dude. Just take what's there. If it's a 2-yard pass, instead of trying to force one in 20 yards down the field, give it to the 2-yard pass. Keep it simple. That's how they win this week.
I that's literally stolen from my notes. I have the same thing. Like, limit the mistakes. Jalen Hurts just went through arguably the worst 4-game stretch of his career. Just the second time he's turned the ball over 7 times. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. So if you limit the mistakes against this Browns defense, I think they should be able to hold their own. Quinn says because wide receiver 1 and 2 are back.
I mean, we hope that's huge.
Yeah, man. I definitely underestimated the loss of A.J. Brown. I didn't think it it would be that bad. And they really struggled in that because that's the locker room. I love it. Let's get it to the other side. The Eagles will lose to the Browns because.
Oh, I thought there was another.
No. For me, it's the defense. I just it's got to be the defense. Is a defense that doesn't pursue well. I mean, you kind of already touched on it, but they don't tackle well. They get a lot of inconsistent play from C.J. Gardner-Johnson to Josh Sweat to you name it, Jordan Davis. Outside of Quinyon Mitchell, who's been terrific, there's not a lot of young players out there improving and not a lot of players getting better. It looks like the personnel doesn't really fit the Vic Fangio scheme. And I think there's mounting evidence the league has kind of caught up to this style of defense. For me, it starts and ends with the defense.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that the way the Eagles lose for me is if they are, let's take from Dennis Green. They are who their record, or Bill Parcells, they are who their record says they are. If they lose and they're 2-3, they're not a good football team. And we need to just face that fact that this is not going to be a good year, that this team's going to be playing more to see where their draft position is rather than playing for a title. Like I said, right now they're in the thick of it because of the way that the league is just playing itself out. But you lose this week. I don't know where the confidence comes back from, because this is the week where, right, for everything we've heard, everybody comes back. Lane will be back. AJ and Devontae will be back. Maybe Cooper DeJean gets in there a little bit more now that maybe he's a little bit healthier. So, this is where your season should start, right? You were 500 at the bye. So you look at it, hey, we're 0-0. We're 0-0 and we have a 13-game season. What can we do over the next 13? And it damn well better be close to 10 wins and 3 losses over the next 13. But that doesn't happen unless you start with a W on Sunday.
Marshawn says Watson has been sacked 26 times in 5 games. If this isn't a breakout game for the edge rushers, that game might never come. We have Marshawn saying 24-21 Browns on a late TD drive. That would be wild.
This town would lose it.
Sirianni won't survive.
No.
I don't think my gut feeling is they don't fire him this season until the season.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lurie, really, the only time he did that was Chip, and that was for, I think, more so off the field stuff than on the field stuff, or he would have let him finish the year. I think Chip just rubbed everybody the wrong way. So he probably won't be fired this, during the season. But once again, if it's a late drive, that people better start yelling for Fangio's head too, because that will be just another time where he, blows a game. Like, I know 21 points, it's not a lot offensively, but if the Eagles score 21 points against the Browns, it should be a victory. There should be no other question about it. If the Eagles are in the 20s, this should be a win.
Brian says, don't know what you're seeing in the Eagles. This is not a serious team. I'm right there with you, Brian. I'm right there with you. The horrors of 2023 from the second half of last season are very evident in this year's squad for sure. Pause at Chip rubbing people. Let's roll on to our X factors for the game. All right, before we get into score predictions and win predictions, X factors, guys that are, underrated, guys that we might think have a major impact on this one. I mean, obviously, I already threw mine out there. For me, it's Cooper DeJean. I think is a guy that has to be on the football field, whether that's nickel or dime or dime linebacker. I don't care. I am concerned about this Eagles defense wholeheartedly, top to bottom, and I think Cooper DeJean is a very good tackler. I'm excited to see what this kid's got.
Well, I mean, mine's not going to be an under the radar guy as the X factor this week, but I watched Terry McLaurin just go deep and burn through the secondary of Cleveland last night. I saw a lot of deep passes getting completed. So AJ, you've been out for a few games. Look, the old school Andy Reid Eagles. You know what they would do on play one. Play one would be a play action bomb down the sideline to AJ Brown, and if you hit it, great. If you don't, okay, but you want to show me that you're here, that you have the energy needed to get somewhere this year. Come out with big balls and go deep on play one. I know we said we want Saquon a lot, and yes, after that, let's give it to him. But play one, play action down the friggin' field to AJ Brown and try and take the friggin' roof off, even though there is no roof, the proverbial roof off of Lincoln Financial Field to start the game. But I think AJ is a guy that I want to see have a big game and, basically say, hey, you now know what it means when I'm not here. So when I'm here, I'm going to make it count.
Quinn, do you live in Tampa? He's saying Hurricane Milton versus
Q, if you live down there, Godspeed, my man.
I know. It looks bad. It's a Category 5 now. It's crazy. Man, be safe. Dude, be safe. I have a friend that lives in Tampa, and they just evacuated him to, like, North Carolina. He lives in Claremont. I've been there. Okay.
Oh, man. Be safe down there, Q, man. We need you here.
Absolutely. And then let's wrap up this show with our score predictions. Score predictions, Rob. Do the Eagles finally beat an opponent by more than one score?
I say this very reluctantly, but yes. I don't know how much I actually believe it. I'm going to put the score 27-13.
Nice.
I think the offense is going to do a good enough job. I think, if the defense is ever going to get it right, it's got to be this week. So I got to have faith in that. Look, damn it. The Phillies, we don't know if they're going to even be in it come Sunday, right? So, I need to have some sort of positivity at some area of my sports love. So I'm going to say 27-13. And here's my one prop bet for you. I know that you can't necessarily make it on specific defensive players, but if you can, this is Q Mitchell. This is Quignon's week for the pick six. This is Quignon's week on an out route that he jumps it, he gets the ball, and he's up the sideline for a touchdown. So I'm going pick six for Q here against Deshaun Watson in Cleveland.
I'm pretty similar. I picked the Eagles to lose to the Bucs last week. Feeling better about this one, obviously. I think the Eagles win 24-21. I definitely think it's going to be close. Mm-hmm. I'm at the point where I don't even think it matters who the Eagles are playing with this defense. So Eagles squeak out a victory. It might not be that close. Like, it could be like a Browns touchdown late in the game.
Yeah, with 15 seconds left.
Yeah, something like that. But that's just my vibes. Yeah. Quentin says 27-23. Birds get the W. Let's wrap this up, man. Sixers are about to start.
Yep.
Final thoughts, plugs. Tom's yours, man.
Hey, listen, right now is a great time of year. You get the Sixers coming back. The Phillies are in the playoffs, hopefully for an extended run. And hopefully the Eagles come back from the bye. But, catch me right here, Party on Broad. Catch me on Twitter at Philly_madness. We got some fun things that'll be coming to you that we're working the kinks out right now. But as they do, we will make sure to let you know.
Yep. I've been putting out tons of shorts. So if you like daily Sixers news, daily Eagles news, I've been putting those out every day, as well as, of course, my college football takes and winners of the week. Those are all on the channel. Tonight, we will be doing a Sixers post-game show, reacting, top takeaways, grades, all of that fun stuff. One last time, that is Rob Langy at Philly_madness. I am Dives, Mr. Crockpot. See you tonight for Sixers post-game. For Rob, for myself, stay awesome.